Stampers, this is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com. First of all, I'd like to thank you for purchasing the Frightful Wreath Simply Created kit from me. And as promised, I did this video just for you. In order to receive this video, you would have had to have purchased this. I ask that you can get together with your friends and share it with them at your house, but please don't give out the link that I sent you, because it is an exclusive perk for purchasing it through me. Okay, so let's get started. This is my kit. Excited, aren't you? Doesn't it look like so much fun? Let me get it open. Okay. Oops. Busted through that. Okay, I'm going to open my kit up. This is the first time I'm opening it with all of you. So, here's our garland. Here's our Stampin' Sponge and the ribbon. Oh, our beads for our spider. That's the first thing we're going to be making today. And these are the other accessory kit for the spider. Our doilies and our medallion. And oh, this is our rosette. And then the wreath, and then the spider web. Okay, I'm going to take everything and put it to the side, except for the beads, because like I said, we are starting with the spider first. I'm going to open this box up, or this bag up, and empty the contents, and you'll find some wires and some bead ends in here. And this is the head pin. Now, it's a little bit crooked, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think it got kind of a little mixed up. You should have 2 large and 2 small bead ends. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you, and hopefully I'm going to stay on camera. Then we're going to open up our beads. Now, I would recommend using some type of a tray or rounded bowl to put your beads into. Oh, and I don't think, this is actually one of our embossing powder trays that we used to sell. We don't carry them anymore. Okay, in the instructions said to feed your small bead end and then your small bead through, and then you will feed the other bead end, and then we're going to go to the large one and feed the large purple bead. Oh, I love this already. I love Halloween. I don't know about you guys, but Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. Okay, so now you have it like that. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bend the end of this wire. They say to curl it up, so what I'm going to do is just taking needle nose pliers, just wrap it around, just like that. Okay, see that? There. And that's going to hold it together. You don't necessarily want it real tight. In fact, I have a feeling that we're going to be able to move these. Now, and the next step is to take all your wires and fold it in half. Find your midway point. And the midway point, you're going to take it and wrap it around that center between the 2 beads. And you're going to do that with all the wires, because you want your Spidey to have 8 legs. So I'm going to do it individually. I don't know what your results will be if you do them all at the same time. You can try that if you'd like, but I'm just taking it. It's kind of hard to do on camera. Spinning it around and then just doing 1 loop twist like that. I'm going to do some from the top, I think, and some from the bottom. So I'll do 2 from the bottom and then 2 from the top. Okay. Okay, now as you can see, I have 4 legs coming out this way and 4 legs coming out this way. I don't know, 2 of them are a little bit shorter and 2 are a little bit longer, so I don't know how you did that. But now you're going to take your beads, and I'm going to take these one at a time. So I'm going to kind of group them together like this. And I am going to, let me zoom in here. I am just going to be taking 3 of the purple beads, the round purple beads, and putting those on. And then you're going to take 2 of the skinny silver beads and put that on. Yeah, my eyesight isn't what it used to be. I used to be able to see a whole lot better, but ages get me down. Okay, so I've got 3 and 2. Then you're going to repeat and do 3 of the round beads. I used to do jewelry making, and when I did that, I could literally just put this down and do it right in there. So you're going to repeat so that you have 3 groups of purple beads and 3 groups of silver beads. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera and finish this up. Okay, now the picture in the instructions showed that you should be able to get 2 of the bugle beads on the end, which are the long beads, but my wire's too short. So I'm just going to take and curl this around and crimp it. Okay, so you're going to do that for each of your legs. And when I'm done with all of them, I will come back on camera. So that's pretty simple. 3 round, 2 long, 3 round, 2 long, 3 round, and then I ended up with 1. So all of mine will be that pattern. Whatever fits onto your wires, depending on, I guess, on how you wrapped it, how tightly. So that's the spider, and I'll be back when it's all done in a second. Hang on. Be right back. Okay, Stampers, I'm back, and Sally's spider is all done. Isn't she gorgeous? Look how sparkly she is, and she stands up on her legs. Once again, it's 3 round beads, 2 long, 3 round, 2 long, 3 round, and then 2 long. And then you just curl the end up. So that's our spider embellishment for our wreath, and on to the next stage. Okay, Stampers, for this next step, you're going to need a hot glue gun, your wreath, your 12-foot of garland, and I highly recommend your silicone mat. This has been heating up a little bit, so hopefully it's hot enough. Move my beads out of the way so I don't spill them on the floor. And I would not completely unravel this. I would find the end. And you know that's going to be the last thing I find is the end. Okay, there we go. Here's the end. And we're going to want to find the actual wire end is what I recommend. And I am just going to pull this garland down a little bit because the core of your garland, what all this tinsel is held together with, is 2 wires that are twisted every once in a while. You want to make sure that those are twisted on the end there. Okay, and then I'm going to continue to twist to make them just 1. I want to start this out with a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to push some hot glue there. Now, I don't know if it matters if it's a hot temperature or low temp hot glue, but I'm going to take those 2 wires. You know, it's kind of like your kid's unruly hair, bedhead, in the middle there, and I'm going to actually stick those into the styrofoam as much as I can, and then plop the end of my tinsel down there, of my garland. I'm just going to let that cool just a few minutes, and I'm going to turn off actually my glue gun on low and put it to the side, and then you're simply going to take your garland and wrap it around until the entire wreath is filled up. Okay, so that's your next step. Grab your garland and your wreath and wrap it around, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've wrapped my garland around, and you'll see that I have a spot here that's not covered. It's like, oh no, I don't have enough garland. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to space it out a little bit. Now I made sure, and it just happened to work out, that I ended on the same side that I started on. And I guess I could have counted how many times around I did it, but I didn't. I'm just going to kind of ease it around till I can get the end. Once again, locate those wires, you guys, because see, if you don't, it starts coming off, and you don't want that. So locate those end wires, and you can do this before you start too if you want, and make sure they're twisted, because I know that at the stores, or at the manufacturers, all they do is they've got this all on a long string, and I'm sure all they do is cut it off. So you don't want that coming apart. So twist it, twist it, twist it up, just like you did in the beginning. And once again, I'm going to take my hot glue gun, put some hot glue here where they're going to meet, scrunch this over enough so that I can get my end there. I'm going to scrunch in, oh, I can't get that wire in, so I'm just going to scrunch the end there and hold it again for a couple seconds. And then just continue around with your tinsel till it goes around the entire wreath and you don't have any white spaces. Now it's not really going to matter if where you ended and started, if that's in the front or the back, because you're not going to locate it once you've got this all decorated. Now the instructions on this tell you that the next thing you're going to do is take out your little spider web and attach it on to your wreath. Okay, so they say just to glue it, and it's going to be a little bit loose. So once again, I'm going to move my wreath out of the way, and I'm going to take my silicone mat here and get rid of that little bit of tinsel, and I'm just going to pick some points on here to put some hot glue, some towards the outside, some towards the inside, and I'm doing every other one. Okay, going inside, outside. And I don't know if we're going to end up even or not, because like I said, I just opened it up right in front of you. This is the first time I'm making this. So we're making it together, and we'll learn from my mistakes. That's how you always want to do it. Learn from your teacher's mistake. Okay, we're ending with both of them being up, so between that one, I am going to do one right down there. Okay, I'm going to bring my wreath back over, move your hot glue gun. Smart to put your silicone mat underneath it. And we are going to lay our spidey web right on top and just kind of press down. That hot glue will adhere to your tinsel wherever it touches the tinsel. And you don't want to smash it. It will fluff back up. Okay, and that seems to be attached pretty good there. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make your rosette. So once again, let's move our wreath. It'll cool off a little bit. See, so if you have white gaps, you're really not going to notice, but isn't that cool? I am in love with this wreath. I can't tell you. Okay, with your rosette, it's already accordion style, and you are just going to, it's scored for you, you're just going to take and fold every other fold. Okay, I'm going to finish mine up off camera, so while I'm doing that, you can do yours. I'll be right back. Okay guys, now you can see, as you can see, I already have all my scored lines folded. You are going to want to make sure that this hole right here, let's zoom in on it, that hole that's punched out in your rosette needs to be, when you fold, it's got to be the outside or the mountain fold. Okay, so it needs to be sticking up towards you. Okay, what we want to do is we want to take our two ends and remove the adhesive protection that's on the adhesive, and we are going to attach our two ends. Just butt them up. So if I can get this on camera, just butt it up like that and press. Okay, so you've got this nice rosette, and you will also want to make sure that this hole is towards the outside. So when you squeeze this and push it down to form the rosette, which is kind of sticking just like that, you want that hole to be to the outside. Okay, so it's right there. Okay, so it looks like it's like this, but it's actually all the way closed in. Okay, so I'm going to bring my silicone mat over again. You can tell I've been coloring some of my crystal effects on my mat. I haven't cleaned it off yet. Okay, I like mine nice and tight like this. And I'm just going to take some of my hot glue and glue it around, letting it fall into the cracks. Okay. Squeeze it together and hold it until that glue dries. It doesn't really take that long, but let's hold it till the glue dries. Okay, my glue is dried, and as you can see, it's still a little bit flimsy, and that's okay. We're going to flip it over. It'll stiffen up once we put the rest of the items in there. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our ribbon, the Tangelo twist ribbon, and we're going to thread it through that hole. Remember I said that hole was important to make sure it was towards the outside. So we're going to take that, thread our ribbon through, and believe me, they've given you plenty of ribbon to do this. Okay, and then I always tie my ribbons upside, and in the instructions the next step is to take your doilies and you're going to separate them. And don't be surprised if you got 3 or 4 of them, because these things stick together. Yeah, see, I have 4. And what we're going to do is take the sponge out. And now the instructions say to take some Perfect Plum ink. You didn't get any ink with this, but I wanted to use my Elegant Eggplant instead, just because it's Halloween and I just like it to be a little bit deeper. And you're just going to sponge some color onto your doilies just like that. Just as much or as little as you want. Just go all the way around. If you want it a little bit darker, go over it again. You don't have to go all the way into the center, because you will be covering that up. And I want mine like a variegated. I don't want it all solid purple, or eggplant I should say. I want high spots, dark spots, and low spots, just to add to the texture of it. Okay, so that's one, and you're going to do the second one the same way. Okay, Stampers, the next step in your instructions is to attach your medallion to the center of your wreath. I don't recommend doing that. In fact, you'll notice that there's a break in the video that I'm doing, which I usually shoot it in one shot, but after shooting it and trying to decorate it on the wreath, I highly recommend it once again that you skip that step and attach it after it's decorated. So on to decorating the medallion. Okay, so first the white one. Scoop it up with a bunch of glue and just press it down. Now, I want the outside not to be glued down real tight, and actually with this one, I'm actually going to scrunch it up. I want to add a little bit of texture to it. This is just me doing my thing. And we'll glue it down in the center again. Okay. And then your black rosette that they've got you for you, you're going to glue that down to the center. And I suppose for this part you could just use your multi-purpose and press and let that cool. It's a little bit warm, a little bit snuggly there. So that's the one side, centering it. I'm going to turn it over and we're going to do the back side. Once again, gluing the white. Oops. I've run out of glue here. I'm trying to get my glue stick in. Okay. Adding some glue to the back of the white doily. Pushing in with my chest. Sorry about that, guys, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, hold that down. I forgot. I didn't crumple that one. This purple one I want to crumple again. And just add some glue to the center. Oh, look at that. I actually had another one on there. Okay, I got 5 doilies. If you do that, that's okay. It's just another layer. Throw that on too. We'll just add a little bit more to it. Give it a little bit more dimension. And once again, your center piece. Now, that is that. Okay, stampers, we're going to finish up our wreath now. And you'll notice that in your instructions, the wreath does have a banner across the center with the words Trick or Treat. Now this banner does not come in the set, nor does the stamp set in your kit. The stamps that are used there are from the Frightful Wreath photopolymer stamp set that is in the holiday catalog. I'm going to stamp Trick or Treat in black stays-on ink on the center of a 1.5 inch by 8.5 inch strip of Whisper White cardstock, and just push evenly down and up. There we go. And clean this off. Okay, and then I'm going to take the little splotches that are in there, and I am going to use the Elegant Eggplant again. Mount that. And I am going to stamp off with this because I don't want them all real dark. And just add some splotches here and there on my banner. And once again, make your banner a little bit longer than what you want it to be. And I'm going to pick up my wreath now. Now you'll notice when I pick my wreath up and I show it to you, I have added a little bit more bedazzle to it. I added some of our rhinestone jewels to it. I thought it just needed a little bit more in the center there. And once again, I'm going to get some ink pads to hold that up so that while I'm doing this on camera, you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, I am going to be mounting this with some dimensionals, and I am going to have it up, and I think the 8.5 inches is actually what I want. So I'm going to make my banner. I'm just going to do a little clip on the center of the edge and do my little tail there, and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to lay it on there so I can kind of figure out how I want it. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. Like I said, I am going to be stacking it up a little bit on one side. Just kind of centering it on here. And I didn't put that quite to the center, so I'm going to add another one. Oops, sticking to my fingers today. Okay, get that centered there. And like I said, I do want it to have a little bit of a wave to it. So I'm going to take my scissors and just curl the paper a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and stack about 3 dimensionals on top of one another, and all I do is stack them, peel off the protective layer to make them thicker. That's what's nice about these dimensionals. You can make them thick or thin, and I love ours because they are thin enough that if you use them on a card, you can still mail it without having to pay that extra fee from the post office. Okay, there we go. Okay, our rosette's all decorated, and I've added a few little blingy to it, as you notice here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I did add, I'm going to get so that I'm in the light, I did add some rhinestone jewels at the top and at the bottom, just to add a little bit of bling to the center. And there's a good close-up of the banner and the doilies. I did make a little note on the video that I do recommend that not only doing your doily, the purple, the eggplant, I would do this black one black. With your basic black pad is fine and a sponge. But I think it would add a little bit more to it. Okay, so we're going to get on to attaching our rosette to the center of the wreath. I'm going to have to move it up a little bit, but what you're going to do is you're going to center it into the wreath, and I recommend taking some ink pads or stamp cases and stacking it in the center so that it hangs just about where it's going to hang on your wreath. Then we're going to take our ribbon and we are going to attach it to the wreath and not just the spider web. I'm just afraid that if you just attach it to the spider web, it's going to pull it off, because remember we hot glued it and it's just barely on there. I mean, it's on, so it's not going to go anyplace. However, I don't recommend attaching it to the actual web. Now you can run your ribbon over the top, or I'm actually going to run it underneath the web, and this is one of the reasons why I don't recommend attaching it as the instructions say in the beginning. Okay, I'm zoomed out as far as I can go, so I'm just going to move this up a little bit so you can see me tying the bow. And you can either tie your bow at the top or you can tie it above your medallion. I'm going to choose to tie it at the top of my wreath, and I'm hoping that you can see this. Okay, I think we've got it so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to loop it underneath. We're going to go ahead and tie it here, and I'm going to tie it so that it dangles. It's going to be a little bit loose, just a little bit tighter than what I wanted. I'm going to tie a knot in this part so that when the bulk of the weight is pulled, it's pulled on the wreath. Now I'm going to pull this through the webbing right here, both ends, and I'm just going to tie a bow at the top. Now, like I said, you can do it at the top of your medallion. You can tie your bow really wherever you want on this. And I just took my little rabbit ears, and I'm just going to pull this a little bit and adjust my bow. I've already gone through several of the videos on how to do bows. I'm not going to concentrate too much on that there, and that's going to hang like that. Now we have little Miss Sally's spider, and we want to attach her. So what we need to do is we need to find our stretching silver cording that's in there, and it's kind of like a rubber band, and you're going to run that through her little behind there. Actually, it's through the little loop that you made when you attached and tightened the beads together. And I want her, you're going to figure out where you want her to hang. And what's kind of interesting is once you get these legs in there, the legs kind of hold her. I just think that the cording is just to help make sure she doesn't flop off if you have her on your door and it swings in and out. The cording will help it. Once again, I'm going to run the cording underneath the spider web here and underneath it in the opposite direction. And we're just going to tie it around the wreath part. And so you do have to lift it up a little bit. Just grab it from underneath with your fingers. No, Sally, sorry. I think she's getting a little mad here. I keep playing with this. Okay. She says, I'm on my wreath. Leave me alone. Okay, so just by figuring out where you want her placed, you're just going to take the two ends, whoops, I just lost it, the two ends of the cording, just like that. Let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing again. And just the two ends and just an overhead hand knot where you just loop it around, make a loop, and pull it through. It doesn't matter how tight or loose you do it, because it will move a little bit. Okay, and there's your wreath. I'd like to thank you again for purchasing the Frightful Wreath Kit through me, and I'm going to be offering some more free videos with kits in the future, so keep on the lookout. Be sure to subscribe to my blog at judystamps.com so you don't miss out on the next video. Thank you again. Until next time, happy stamping.